Hello everyone, welcome back to Super Sam, go Super Saiyan. It's been a long time, and I'm glad to see you guys again. As always, we're just going to be doing a bit of sketching today. If you have your sketchbook or tablet out, feel free to follow along. Let's get started. Again, today I've taken a picture off of Google of just some military folk just doing what they do, training. I've got an interesting picture today. It's actually a old fellow, and he's just practicing with his firearm. But this is good practice because it's always good to draw people of all different ages. Okay, that gives me a nice little idea of what I'm gonna draw. I do also want to add a bit of the background that's here. Very simple, just basically shapes. There's just a tiny little hill here, and it looks like these guys are actually practicing on an incline. Here's the field where they're all staying, but then the field actually goes up like this. It's very interesting. I have no idea what they're firing at. I can't see it. That's fine. There's a bunch of trees here. Just draw some lines to indicate the trunks. A big tree right here, all by itself. It's got three big extending branches right there. Oh, and there's some lovely hills in the background, like that. Very nice. Okay, good. That gives us a general idea of what we're going to be doing. Let me just lower the opacity a little bit here. Okay. As always, I like to draw a circle for the head. Simple. Shapes. That's all it is. Shapes. That's the beauty of drawing. You're not just drawing what you see. You're not just drawing a head. You're drawing the structure behind it, and the structure is what gives it a beauty in itself. The details are beautiful too, but without the structure it's incomplete, and it won't look very nice. Now this guy, he's got a very flat face. It's not very, the drawings I've been doing so far, you see a lot of the nose sticking out there, and even the mouth and the jaw really sticking out. Even the forehead will really, that just really looks wrong, but even the forehead will just really stick out for the characters I've been drawing, and not just my characters, but for a lot of cartoony characters, you'll see a lot of exaggeration in its proportions. But this old fellow, if we were to draw him like this, he'd just look young with a lot of wrinkles, and I don't really want to do that. So let's see if I can figure out a way to still draw him in a comical manner, but a bit more resembling of his age, I guess. So I can see that he actually has a very prominent forehead. So, you know what, I'm gonna start off the way I normally do with these sort of nose bridge coming in this way, but the nose is gonna stick out a lot, very straight. And come back in like that. And we're just gonna go straight down for the jaw, like that. And it comes back in like this. His ear is up here somewhere. Let's switch things up a little bit. We're gonna bring his face a bit closer out to the front. There we go. That's a bit better, I feel. Now, if you look at the outline, you'll see that the head is already really deep inside his chest here, like it's come down quite a bit, but that's okay. I only drew the boxes to give me a sort of idea of the direction of the body, the direction of the arms and the legs. Proportion, I'm not really thinking about that right now. Proportion, I'll actually think more about as I go along. Although I could be thinking of proportion beforehand, but today, that's not the way I'm doing it. He's got very squinty eyes, Let's do something like that. It's a bit small though. Okay, let's work with that for now. Now let's start working on the body. This guy, I can tell his form is very proper. He's standing up very straight. His arms are completely extended out forward. just look at that form. Straight. The thing is, I've learned while drawing is that human form is never completely straight. For example, as you can see here, his torso is actually, it looks slightly angled. It doesn't look like this. It's more like this, and I don't know, that's just kind of the subtlety of the human body and our movements. You know, it's never completely straight all the time. This was actually one of the harder parts for me while drawing, is to come to an understanding of this, that you know, I'm not gonna see people just straight like twigs like that. And it's a little bit jarring at first, but it's something you get used to as you keep doing it. Okay, there we go. We've got that sort of general body shape down. Let's work on the hands a little bit. Hands are still one of my greatest weak points. I haven't studied hands thoroughly. I haven't studied them at all, actually. You know, there's a lot of great study out there how to understand all the bones and how to simplify the forms into squares and rectangles and simplify them into forms and shapes so that you can really understand how to draw them when your hand is doing an interesting pose. Maybe if you're grabbing something, even just doing like a little peace sign or something like that, you know. It can really help, but I haven't gotten to it yet. For now, all I do is I sort of implement the methods that I've seen some artists use, where they won't even draw the fingers, they'll just sort of draw the outline of the hand, because if you look at the hand, it's basically like a mountain, like this, like a glove, and all you have is a little thumb sticking out here. So if you just kind of draw in this form, even if it's a bit recklessly, it'll still give off the impression of a hand. For example, I'm going to draw the thumb now, right? And now I'm going to draw the fingers all sticking together. They're not separated, they're just sticking together. But I'm not going to draw each individual finger. I'm just going to kind of draw like a rough outline of it. And already you kind of see the hand. It's a cartoony hand, and it's not... Even that is pretty bad, but for now, you know, that's what you can do to try to get by. You know, not make your hands look so noticeable. So he's grabbing his other hand here like that. Tiny little gun. one of the beauty, the thing that makes a gun so kind of fun, or not even fun to draw, but just kind of cool, and like sort of the design aspect of it is very interesting. It's just because of its straight lines, you know. Most of the time when we look at things, we don't see things for all the detail that's encapsulated in what we're seeing. We actually, our brains don't take in that much, well, maybe it does take in that information, but our brains don't process it necessarily. So what happens is when you're looking at something, you won't be noticing all the details. You'll actually just be seeing the general shape of that object. For example, I have a keyboard in front of me and I just took a look at it and I didn't see all the letters on the keyboard. I didn't see all the numbers or the F1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to 12, the escape button, backspace, none of that. I just kind of saw this large rectangular shape in front of me. And so that's the first kind of things we notice. We notice the general forms, the general shapes, the structure of things. And guns are just straight lines. You know, and that in itself is very beautiful. A straight line is beautiful in itself. I think that's one of the reasons why we find them very, or at least I find them interesting. I'm sure there are people who would disagree. Okay. Oh, didn't finish off his legs here. Let's just do that. Another issue I have when I draw is that I never really seem to connect the torso and the waist properly. What I mean by that is, you'll see that the middle of this guy's chest is, his torso is right here. But if you saw just now, I drew his waist area like this, and that actually, human body doesn't go like so angled like that. It's more straight-ish. That's another weakness I have in my drawings, something I'm trying to fix. And it can easily be fixed by just drawing a straight line like that, and you will immediately understand where the waist, middle of the waist is. There we go. Alright, now this guy has one of those very fun military hats. And I also really like helmets. Again, not because of its purpose entirely, but because of its bottom part just sort of goes like that, and then it has a little, I don't know what you call it, it just kind of follows around his head like this. Maybe it should be a bit lower. Let's try that. That looks a bit better. really tell that this is an old guy anymore. It just looks like some fella who's squinting. I think what I can do is I can add some wrinkle lines around the eyes like that. That does help with the impression of age. And always a cheek wrinkle. I don't know what it's called, but a wrinkle around the mouth like that. That always adds a very old effect. I think one of the reasons why this guy isn't looking so old right now is because I made his skull a little too big. I talked about this before on a previous stream, but when you want to make something look younger, you don't well, actually no, I guess it wasn't what I talked about on another stream. On another stream I spoke about how you can increase the size of the eyes compared to the skull, and that'll just make a more cartoony character. Here, what I'm doing is I'm actually increasing the size of the face to match more with the circle right here, making him look a bit older. Can't really explain that too well, but I'm just trying to fix up his age here. Let's give a bit more nuance to his nose. There you go. And I'm actually not gonna let the mouth go in so deep like that. I'm actually gonna keep it out a bit more like this. It's a bit better, I think. Yeah, something like that. I wonder if I could even do something like this. No, that just looks wrong. Let's see what I can do about the face here. You know, let's get rid of the eyes too. They may be part of the problem. He's gone back to looking pretty young, but I'm just gonna keep working on from here. Ooh, this guy has like, yeah, it goes like that. And last but not least, he's got glasses, but I'm going to put that out on different for him here. Those a bit bigger. Not, how do I say? Not avid reader big, but just big enough to show that he needs help with his eyesight. It's a bit too big now, actually. Okay, I think I'll work with that. And the shirt is really tucked away into the belt here. The belt also has two little pouches. Oh, and can't forget the little strap that keeps the helmet on. That actually makes a big difference in the drawing, really. the skull lines. And these little fellas here. Oops. Kind of looks like a miner's hat. Maybe because of this badge on the front. Makes it look like a light. There we go. That's a bit better. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't really have the sort of fierceness that I see in the picture. That's okay though. I think if I wanted to add the real fierceness in his face, I need to kind of start over from scratch. Let's add a few wrinkles to the sleeve. Not a lot. I'm more of a minimalist. I think most cartoonists are. Because in cartoons, like I keep saying, you're really simplifying things. You're not trying to cram in so many details. You just want to capture the real basic stuff about the picture. And if you do that well, if you do that skillfully, you can get a really beautiful picture, even though it doesn't have that many details. I know a lot of I wouldn't even call them anime artists, because they do draw anime characters and in the style of it, but they add a lot of I don't know how they do it necessarily, but I think they add a lot of classical painting techniques to give their pictures a more lifelike feel, you know, or just a more elegant and sort of lovely kind of drawing. I don't know if you guys have seen those kinds of drawings, but it's those ones where you look at it and it's your favorite anime character, but it's been drawn to a very beautiful and with a lot of detail. The paintwork is very beautiful, and the hair is more detailed than a regular comic. The eyes are certainly has a lot of detail with sparkles and shading and all that kind of stuff. Those kinds of styles, you know, I would say they're mixing, you know, fusing anime and sort of more classical painting techniques. And I'm not a huge fan of that sort of style. I'm, like I said, more of a minimalist. I prefer drawings where people will try to minimize the amount of lines they use, the amount of color they use, the amount of shading they use, and just try to grab the very essence of the character and the drawing with as little as possible. And I really like that kind of style, personally. Right, and in the background of this guy, there's a couple of other people practicing. They look younger than him, but let's try to get them down too. There's someone back here. Interesting. They all have the same sort of posture, sort of leaned back a little bit, but only this guy has a real grip on his arms. They're completely straight. Everyone else is actually a little bit slouched in a way. It's not as straight as his. Anyways, you'll see what I mean as I draw it. Again, just circle for the head. I've been practicing circles a lot lately. Not because I wanted to practice circles necessarily, but I've been using circles a lot in order to copy some of my favorite artists, and the way they draw. I use circles a lot to sort of measure and figure out the shapes behind what they're drawing. And while doing that, it just ended up being a good practice for me for drawing circles. So you'll see what I mean now. If you saw the last guy, the old guy, his arms were like completely straight like that. These guys, they've got their arms sort of an angle like this. I don't know, maybe there's a reason for that too. But I prefer to think that it's because the other guy has had much more experience and understands a bit more how to handle a weapon. Maybe some people might think, why I bother drawing the shapes, the sort of the general shapes underneath when I don't even really follow them. Well, one reason for that is that I'm just not a good enough artist yet. I think real professional artists, they understand how proportionate the structure needs to be, how proportion it needs to be, anyways, they have a good enough understanding of the structure of the human body or whatever else it is that they're drawing in order for them to create an outline that's good enough to follow. Me, I'm not quite there yet, really. Still have a lot of practicing to do. You just draw the thumb, and then everything else, it can just kind of be a general shape of what you're seeing, really. It doesn't need to be perfect. Let's draw his face. He's a young rookie, let's say, so he's got a really focused expression, but we don't want to make him look evil. So normally if I want to draw a focused expression, I would draw really squinted eyes just to show that he's focused. But actually I found that you don't need to do that. You can draw his eyes big. That kind of gives a young, amateurish look to him, but then if you make his eyebrows just, make him look like he's really nervous or concentrating, then you can give an impression that he's really focusing. Don't need to squint his eyes a lot. Maybe open up his mouth a little bit to show that he's kind of breathing a lot and just trying his best, really. And of course, we can't forget his trusty helmet. And he's even, this old man here, his head is straight. Like, I'm looking at his picture too. It is straight up. It's not looking down, it's not looking up a little bit. It's just completely straight where his gun is. But this guy's a newbie, and actually in the picture his head is also straight. I guess, he's been trained properly, but just for the sake of making a bit of an interesting narrative, let's say that he's just really, really noob, and he doesn't even know how to keep his head straight, so he's just kind of looking down a little bit. His helmet is sort of down here. As you can see, that would even cause his eyesight to be blocked by the helmet a bit. But he'll learn. Just give him some hair. So his form is correct and all, but he still hasn't mastered his, the positioning of his head. I want to move him a little bit. Let's keep him where he is. Teacher and the rookie. Huh. It's got a nice story here. I always love drawings with a good story. Those are the best kinds of drawings for me. One's with a story. Shoes are a bit big, look a little bit comical, like a Mickey Mouse character or something. I want to change that. I drew them a little bit bigger because I'm assuming they're wearing boots, but I don't know, it just looks a little bit too big to me. It's a little bit better, I suppose. Got a bit more lines here for the... Alright, well, I think I'll stop here for today. You know what, let's really finish this off with a bit of a more proper background. You know, it's always lonely to have a drawing only have a sort of white background. You always want an interesting background that always adds to the story, adds to the it makes the art look more interesting, you know. There's some trees here in the back, you know. There's that big tree right here. It's a very long. And the mountains in the back. Those mountains are quite beautiful. I'm pretty sure I got that perspective all wrong just now. I still don't know much about perspective either, actually. That's okay, let's just do that. Okay, great. Well, I think I'll end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for joining me again today on Super Sam Go Super Saiyan. I hope to see you guys again next time to come hang out and chat and to draw and just chill. Until then, I hope you have a great day or a good night. And I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.